Top video games launching on the PlayStation 4 in 2018. 2018 is quickly approaching, and with it will come a slew of new video game titles to look forward to playing. With that said, now's a good time to start marking down what video games to keep an eye on when they officially launch next year. Let us lend a hand. In this list, in particular, we're going over the top PlayStation 4 video games launching in 2018. Find more upcoming video game lists on GameRank's Shadow of the Colossus. Developer SCE Japan Studio, Bluepoint Games, Inc. Publisher Sony Computer Entertainment Platforms. PS4 release 2018. Shadow of the Colossus is an iconic title, one of which that originally released back in 2005 for the PlayStation 2. Overall, players take on the role of a young man named Wander who has entered into a forbidden land. Your overall goal in the video game is rather straightforward. Players must track down and fight these massive creatures known as Colossi in order to restore the life of a girl named Mono. The video game, as mentioned, was introduced and released for the PlayStation 2, however, it was later re-released with enhanced graphics in 2011 for the PlayStation 3. During Sony's E3 2017 press conference, we were once again taken back to the classic title as Sony unveiled their intentions to remake the video game for the PlayStation 4 console. The Last of Us Part 2 developer Naughty Dog, publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment Platforms. PS4 released 2018. It's no secret that one of the most beloved and cherished video games to have released for Sony's last generation console was Naughty Dog's The Last of Us. The video game was a massive hit with a deep dramatic narrative storyline that left us eagerly waiting for more. While it's no surprise for gamers, Naughty Dog has unveiled that their upcoming sequel to the video game known as The Last of Us Part 2 is currently in development. We're still left with little to no information other than the fact that the sequel will take place 5 years after the first video game, with Ellie confirmed to be present. Just what players can expect from the upcoming sequel remains to be seen, though I think we are all hoping that the narrative journey will continue to be just as strong and deep. Death Stranding developer Kojima Productions, publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment Platforms. PS4 released 2018. After the brutal split between world-famed developer Hideo Kojima and his previous employer, Konami, the gaming world kept close tabs on just what Kojima would bring out next, if anything. Luckily, the developer is not interested in leaving the gaming industry just yet and has graced us with his own development studio known as Kojima Productions. The first video game title to release under the development studio will be Death Stranding, and if one thing is certain, no one knows just what to expect from the video game title. There's a ton of secrecy surrounding it, with trailers and teasers only adding fuel to the hype of this upcoming Hideo Kojima production. Perhaps the mysterious trailers and lack of information leading to the video game launch, alongside knowing that Hideo Kojima, a well-known and respected developer, is in control of this product, could be the source of why this video game is building up so much with fans around the world. Kingdom Hearts 3 developer Square Enix, first production department publisher Square Enix Platforms. PS4 release date 2018. Everyone should be well aware of the Kingdom Hearts franchise. The third installment is expected to release sometime 2018, continuing the narrative Disney story. Since the release of Kingdom Hearts 2, the Walt Disney Company had acquired Pixar Animation Studios, Marvel Entertainment, and Lucasfilm, which could result in seeing a variety of characters and worlds from these three newly acquired companies. Just as before, we can expect Sora to be the leading protagonist in a journey filled with Disney settings and Final Fantasy characters. Days Gone developer Cyberpunk studio publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment Platforms. PS4 release 2018. Days Gone is an upcoming action-adventure title surrounding a post-apocalyptic world setting. Players take on the role of a man named Deacon St. John, who was once a former bounty hunter. Now that the world has gone awry and a global pandemic has killed off nearly all humanity, Deacon St. John will have to use his bounty hunter skills to survive in a world full of insane gangs and zombie-like creatures. This will be an open-world video game where developers have stated that the players within the game can complete various tasks multiple different ways. As it stands right now, Days Gone does not have a specific release date attached to the title just yet, but it's expected to launch at some point this coming year, 2018. God of War developer Santa Monica studio publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment Platforms. PS4 released 2018. What can we say about God of War that you probably are not already fully aware of? The video game franchise got its start back in the days of the PlayStation 2 and is still going strong today. However, this upcoming title, in particular, is more of a soft reboot to the franchise. If you're familiar with the past installments, this time around Kratos has ended his time with the Greek mythology and has moved on to Norse mythology. Likewise, Kratos will not be alone anymore as he will be looking over his son named Atreus, preparing him for the real world after the recent passing of his mother. Adding a son to the mix and an older Kratos will certainly change some aspects that we're familiar with in the God of War franchise. Kratos will have to control his rage while he teaches his son vital life lessons. God of War is slated to launch at some point early next year, 2018, for the PlayStation 4 platform. Spider-Man developer Insomniac Games publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment Platforms PS4 release 2018. Spider-Man is an upcoming video game title under developers Insomniac Games, who are previously known for their Ratchet & Clank and Resistance video game franchises. Their latest upcoming title will breathe some new life into the Spider-Man story, as this video game title will not be linked to any past comic books or cinematic movies. Furthermore, we're not going through some origin story of Spider-Man. Instead, the video game will be focused around Peter Parker, 8 years after he has established the role of being the famed hero. From what we know so far, this is an open-world title where the narrative will follow Peter Parker graduating college while keeping up as protector of New York City. The video game will also give players the ability to go through the narrative as not only Spider-Man but as the civilian Peter Parker character as well. From what we know from so far through trailers released, Spider-Man's main antagonist will be Mr. Negative, who turns out to be Martin Lee, one of New York's prominent philanthropist and owner of the FAST shelters that Aunt May works at. Detroit Become Human developer Quantic Dream publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment Platforms PS4 released 2018, set in Detroit, Michigan, and developed by Quantic Dream. Gamers who enjoy choice-driven narratives will want to keep tabs on Detroit Become Human. This is a futuristic neo-noir thriller that's based off an old 2012 tech demo from Quantic Dream that became viral online. Players will take control of 3 different characters, all of which are androids. You will have Kara, a female android that has escaped the factory from where she was made. There's also Connor, who is a male android that is tasked with hunting down deviant androids. Lastly, there is Marcus, another male android who has begun an android revolution against the human race. This video game is all about choices, and it certainly seems that there will be a ton of them to choose through within the game. In fact, there are so many choices that each will alter the narrative storyline and can have grave consequences with your characters. We're not positive just how long this narrative journey will be, but it seems like there will be plenty of replay value for when Detroit Become Human officially releases sometime in 2018. Final Fantasy VII Remake developer Square Enix Business Division 1 publisher Square Enix platform PS4 release 2018. Out of all the Final Fantasy video game titles to have released, there is no arguing that Final Fantasy VII is the most recognized and well-known among gamers. The video game title was such a big hit on the original PlayStation that it was still being brought up and talked about nearly decades later. Now original fans and newcomers can once again relive the narrative journey soon with the Final Fantasy VII Remake. This will be a retelling of the original narrative that follows Cloud Strife and the eco-terrorist group known as Avalanche as they battle against the corrupt megacorporation, Shinra. There are some slight change-ups to the remake. For instance, this will be an action role-playing title, but with so many requests to see a remake release, it's a safe bet that Final Fantasy VII Remake will be a day-one buy for a majority of gamers. There's no set release date attached to the video game just yet, but we're hoping to see the title come out at some point this coming year, 2018. Kingdom Come Deliverance developer Warhorse Studios publisher Warhorse Studios, Deep Silver Platforms PC, PS4, XB1 release 2018 developers Warhorse Studios is attempting to deliver a historically accurate and realistic video game set in the medieval kingdom of Bohemia. Gamers may notice the period-accurate armor, clothing, combat techniques, and even real-world castle recreations. In the video game's campaign, the old king of Bohemia had passed with his heirs lacking the ability and power to secure the throne. Using this opportunity to take advantage and claim the rights, the old king's brother takes control of Bohemia. Players will be taking on the role of a blacksmith's son whose family had been murdered by an invading army. With revenge burning in his heart, the son seeks out his family's killer while also restoring the throne to the rightful heir. Monster Hunter World developer Capcom publisher Capcom released January 26, 2018 platforms PS4, XBO, PC. The Monster Hunter franchise is consistently growing, and with each new installment, a number of new gamers explore the monster-filled worlds development studio Capcom has crafted. Monster Hunter World will mark as the fifth main installment to the franchise, and as you can expect, there will be a number of notable updates. For instance, Capcom has placed larger maps, a more seamless experience between zones, and what's a Monster Hunter video game without the ability to hunt with friends outside of the offline campaign? The game will allow a 4-player online co-op opportunity. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's any word on the video game seeing a release on the Nintendo Switch, but you can expect a launch for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC platforms. Far Cry 5 developer Ubisoft Montreal publisher Ubisoft release February 27, 2018 platforms PS4, XBO, PC. The 11th installment but the 5th main title within the franchise, Far Cry 5 will be seeing a release in 2018. The video game takes place within the United States of America this time around, though more specifically, in a fictional Hope County, Montana. Within the narrative, Far Cry 5 pins players against Joseph Seed, a leader of a cult who has forced his way into controlling Hope County. As more innocent civilians become trapped and forced into submission under Joseph Seed's rule, only a handful of resistance stands between Seed and his reign. Just as before, players can expect the title to deliver as a first-person shooter in an open-world environment to explore either on foot or through vehicles. Dragon Ball FighterZ developer Arc System Works publisher Bandai Namco Entertainment release February 2018 platforms PC, PS4, XBO. Dragon Ball FighterZ is the next title to release within the Dragon Ball franchise. The video game is currently being developed by Arc System Works, who may be best known for their Guilty Gear and BlazBlue series. The video game will have players choose 3 characters to fight and switch through during matches. However, for the story narrative, the game will follow a newly revived Android 16 and his army of androids that are designed to look like various characters. While the video game is only stated to be available for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC platforms, Bandai Namco has expressed the possibility of bringing out a Nintendo Switch platform release, that is if there are enough requests from fans. A Way Out developer Hazelit Studios publisher AI Originals platforms PC, PS4, XBO release 2018. A Way Out is an upcoming action-adventure journey from Hazelit Studios. This will be the second video game to be directed by Joseph Fares, who you may be familiar with from his previous title, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. This is a unique action-adventure video game as it will require 2 players, with the display being split screen regardless of playing the video game locally or through online. Alan Alt. The narrative is based around 2 prisoners who must survive and escape a prison. Their stories will be told simultaneously, and while one character may be in a cutscene, the other will be able to freely move and execute their tasks. As you can likely imagine, A Way Out will focus on gamers having to work together in order to escape the authorities and complete goals. Red Dead Redemption 2 developer Rockstar Studios publisher Rockstar Games platforms PS4, XBO release 2018. Rockstar Games has crafted up a number of incredible pieces of work. Their beloved long-running series Grand Theft Auto, the single IP release of Bully, and of course their old Western series, Red Dead Redemption, just to name a few. Red Dead Redemption has a massive following, and gamers all over the world are undoubtedly waiting for new information to trickle down from Rockstar for their upcoming installment, Red Dead Redemption 2. Gamers can be delighted to know that the latest trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2 reveals the narrative. Players will follow the outlaw Arthur Morgan and the Van der Linde gang in this upcoming installment of the gritty Western. Unfortunately, there is no information quite yet on what features we can expect to take part in during our journey through the Old West this time around. Vampyr developer Dontnod Entertainment publisher Focus Home Interactive platforms PC, PS4, XBO release 2018. Dontnod Entertainment has crafted up some popular titles so far. Their debut title Remember Me sparked the highly beloved Life is Strange IP, following up the release of Life is Strange's Vampyr, a vastly different IP than what the developers have worked. Vampyr takes place during the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic in London, where players take the role of a Dr. Jonathan Reed. Our protagonist is in a predicament as he is a vampire with a bloodthirsty nature, but is battling his condition with his Hippocratic oath. Being an action role-playing title, players can traverse parts of the world while also leveling up Jonathan in order to unlock new abilities and skills through the skill tree. Anthem developer BioWare publisher Electronic Arts platforms PC, PS4, XBO release 2018. The upcoming Anthem video game will be a third-person shooter much like BioWare's past video game franchise, Mass Effect. In order for players to traverse the world, the use of an exosuit will be required, which are known as javelins within the video game. These javelins will give players new powers and abilities such as the flight to soar through the open air or propel them through the depths of an ocean. So far what we know about Anthem is that players will be taking the role of a freelancer who finds work by protecting civilians by exploring the dangerous landscapes outside of the safe zones. Likewise, we know that the game will feature some cooperative multiplayer elements, but there have been no fine details on the matter quite yet. Metro Exodus developer 4A Games publisher Deep Silver Platforms PC, PS4, XBO released 2018 based on Dmitry Glukhovsky's novels. Developers 4A Games is bringing out the third installments to the Metro video game series, Metro Exodus. This first-person shooter takes place in the not-so-distant future, 2036, but in a post-apocalyptic Earth which was devastated by a nuclear war that took place decades earlier. If you enjoyed the past installments, Metro Exodus will follow the events of Metro Last Light. More specifically, the video game will follow the redemption ending with players assuming the role of a young Artyom that flees Metro in Moscow in a journey with Spartan Rangers. With development of the video game title starting back in 2014, 4A Games does not have a specific release date announced quite yet, but it's slated to launch within the 2018 calendar year. Find more upcoming video game lists on GamerRanks.